folks, and welcome to a sort of special edition of the SBY News at 6, if not a little bit later. Listen, one of the things we tipped everybody off on today was the Dr. Phil show that was on, in which they did a segment on Dr. Bradley from Delaware. Look, there's some important factors that the mainstream media, as well as the Dr. Phil show, did not pick up on in that show. And I'd like to present that now. It's something I haven't done on the site yet, but I want to talk about it. One of the biggest clients for Dr. Bradley was, believe it or not, the state of Delaware. There was tons of people that brought their children there that were on state assistance. This doctor was a state-appointed doctor. And I think all of the victims and their families should be well aware that the state is partially responsible. The state of Delaware is partially responsible for what's happened with this guy. Okay, and the things that he did. The mere fact that the red flags were up for such a long time, and the fact that the state did not give the police authorities the search warrants that they requested is very similar to, in my opinion, very similar to the veterinarian board. And I think Stacy Sakai over at 47 News would firmly agree with my opinion here that they don't do anything. They kind of police themselves and take care of themselves. As many reports has gone out to a local veterinarian that we all know about. Some people call him Dr. Death. The bottom line is tons of animals are dying in their care as well, and interesting how nothing gets done about it. Interesting how we bring all this evidence forth and nothing gets done about it. Now we've got humans going through sexual abuse by a sick individual and nothing gets done about it. But what's really the key to me is the fact that the medical assistance that the state gives to a tremendous amount of people. Folks, it's so different in Delaware, I'm telling you. So different. One of the greatest things about Delaware is their assistance programs. Okay? They take care of the citizens. And that's one great thing that they do. I tell you, it's amazing. I've seen so many cases where the state has stepped in and so many different factors, whether it was, parents of children where the ex-husband isn't paying child support and their state assistance. But the biggest thing that bothered me the most about this case, and the first discussion when it first broke that I had with my spouse, was I've never, and I take my grandson to the doctor, I'm going to say 80-90% of the time. That child has never, ever seen a doctor in my presence without me in the room. So if there's one lesson to be learned here, if I ever hear of another parent that brings a child to a doctor's office all the way up to they're 16 years old at least, and they don't go in the room with that doctor, shame on you. It's your own damn fault. That's how I feel about that. I can't believe that parents don't go in with their children. Absolutely amazing. But the bottom line is the state does have some responsibility in this particular case, and that's the end of that. But you didn't know that before. That is where he got the majority of his clients, and low-income people as well. And these people don't seem to put in the complaints. And when they do, they get no justice. Is it only that the rich can go in there and finally get something done with these doctors? These boards need to be researched more. These states and our legislators need to get out there, crack down on this pedophile stuff, and make a difference. Because I'm telling you now, I've had enough of it. We don't need another Sarah Foxwell. We don't need, and I'm telling you, they're talking about hundreds of children that were, hundreds of charges on children. Folks, I do know what happened in this case. I have read the documents, and I'm telling you the honest to God truth. It is by far the most disgusting thing you've ever seen, I've ever seen in my entire life. They're oh my God, it's horrific. So trust me on this. You don't even want to know. It is that bad. That's what's happened. And we need to force our legislators to make a difference. We don't need Dr. Phil, and I appreciate what he did, don't get me wrong, but we don't need Dr. Phil to fix these kind of problems. It's a damn shame that we have to get national recognition for something like this to shame and embarrass our legislators to make a difference. I'm reaching out to Jim Mathias. I'm reaching out to Norm Conway in Maryland to make a difference, because these people I know them personally. All you legislators, get out there and make a difference and go to work for us, for crying out loud. We're tired of paying all these taxes and getting nothing but increases, and you guys going out and purchasing all kinds of things all the time for the benefits of your local constituents within municipalities. Thank you, folks, and I apologize for being so angry, but I had to bring this up to you, and I want you to discuss it. Come to this post. Let's talk about the Dr. Phil show if you happen to watch it today. But let's talk about this Dr. Bradley situation, and let's get our legislators working for us. Thank you, and you have a great evening.